Curious about what DMT and magic mushrooms have in common with your brain? Stay tuned and I'll tell you. Welcome back everyone, my name is Eviatar and today we're focusing on serotonin, the brain's happy chemical. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button below and let's get into it. Serotonin, or 5-hydroxytryptamine, is a neurotransmitter, which means it's a chemical that allows neurons or brain cells to communicate with one another. Its role is in everyday life, from learning and memory, to sleep, to arousal, to emotion. In fact, it's this role in emotions such as depression that has led to scientists calling it the body's happy chemical. It also plays a huge role in the actions of psychedelic drugs, but we'll get into that later. Serotonin is an ancient chemical and is found in all forms of life, from plants to insects and of course in mammals. It's synthesized from the amino acid tryptophan, which is the amino acid that makes you really tired after you eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Serotonin is found both in the brain and the body, but has to be produced separately in these two areas because serotonin itself cannot pass the brain's regulatory border, also known as the blood-brain barrier. In humans, serotonin is produced both in the brainstem and, surprisingly, in the gut. Up to 90% of the body's serotonin is found in the gastrointestinal tract, in a division of the nervous system called the enteric nervous system that contains 5 times more neurons than the spinal cord. Why does the system need so much serotonin? Well, the nerves here use serotonin to communicate and tell each other when to contract and expand the muscles of the GI tract, which will churn food and push it all the way from the stomach and out the other end. The rest of the serotonin in our bodies is produced in the brain, in an area of the brainstem called the raphe nucleus. From here, it travels all the way around the brain and is involved in many of our everyday functions. Feeling extra awake today? Well, data suggests that serotonin is involved in wakefulness. Feeling really impulsive and extra aggressive today? Well, serotonin is likely involved in that too, possibly due to its interactions with the frontal lobes. Serotonin even plays a role in regulating your body's temperature, also known as thermoregulation, and this could be due to interactions with the hypothalamus. One of the best known functions of serotonin, however, is its involvement in emotions and mood, especially in major depressive disorder. Since the 1950s, scientists have realized that drugs that increase the level of serotonin will decrease depressive symptoms in patients. And conversely, decreasing the level of tryptophan, or the precursor to serotonin, will increase the level of depressive symptoms in patients. It's these observations, along with a few others, that have led to the serotonin hypothesis of depression, that states that depression is caused by low levels of serotonin. In fact, this hypothesis is what has led to some of the most widely prescribed drugs in all of North America, called SSRIs. Drugs like Prozac and Zoloft are SSRIs, or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. These drugs aim to increase the amount of time that serotonin is active in the brain by preventing its reuptake, or removal. The idea here is that you can compensate for a lack of serotonin in a depressive brain by making what serotonin there is work overtime and therefore reduce the depressive symptoms. Although this hypothesis is great and taught in every Psych 101 class, this theory of depression is a little bit too simplistic. First, just reducing serotonin in a healthy brain will not cause depression. SSRIs are also pretty hit or miss, not working in every patient they're prescribed to. It's this latter observation that has caused some to speculate that the role of serotonin in depression has been exaggerated by pharma companies to sell more SSRIs to the public. Regardless, it is clear that there is a role for serotonin in depression. So let's move on. And now, as promised, the role of serotonin in psychedelic drugs. Of course, most psychedelic drugs will affect multiple neurotransmitter systems because they have such wide interactions with the brain. However, the role of serotonin has been known to be important for certain drugs for quite some time. LSD, for example, will strongly activate some types of the serotonin receptor, and these receptors are found in high concentrations in areas of the brain like the visual cortex. This could potentially explain why people see visual hallucinations when they drop acid. The chemical structure of other drugs, such as DMT and psilocybin mushrooms, will closely resemble that of serotonin, and therefore, it's really easy for these drugs to activate the serotonin receptors. It's the involvement of these psychedelic drugs with the serotonergic system that motivates studies examining the effects of microdosing on depression. If SSRIs reduce the amount of depression by increasing the level of serotonin in the brain, maybe microdosing with these drugs will also increase the level of serotonin, therefore reducing depression, but also have fewer side effects. If you'd like a full video on how drugs affect the brain, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you learned something new, hit that like button below so I know that you enjoy this kind of content. And as always, stay healthy, stay positive, and have a great day.